Welcome to Time with Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Cordero Dugal. Dugal was shot and killed on Thursday, August 4th, 2016, in the 13,000 block of Imperial Highway in the Willowbrook neighborhood of South LA, according to LA County Coroner records. Lakeem Marty, Deshaun Smith, Carnell Lawson, and DeAnthony Bradford were subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. This case arises out of a series of drive-by shootings committed by members of the Grape Street Crips. Defendant Marty and 6 co-defendants were charged with murder, attempted murder, and other related crimes in connection with 2 of the shootings. Defendant Marty and co-defendant Deshaun Smith were jointly tried on charges before separate juries. 2 other co-defendants, Carnell Lawson and DeAnthony Bradford, testified against defendants Marty and Smith as part of plea agreements for reduced sentences. The Grape Street Crips are a large gang in South LA. One of the gang's main rivals are the Bounty Hunter Bloods. Nickerson Gardens is a housing project located in an area controlled by the Bounty Hunters. Jordan Downs is another housing project about a mile away and is a stronghold of the Grape Street Crips. A few weeks before the shootings in this case, a high-ranking member of the Grape Street Crips was murdered by a member of the rival Bounty Hunter Bloods. On the night of August 3rd, 2016, a group of Grape Street gang members, including defendants Marty, Smith, Lawson, and Bradford, gathered near Jordan Downs. Vernon Williams, a leader and shot caller for the gang, came up with a plan to retaliate against the Bounty Hunters by shooting and killing 1 or more of their members. At Williams' direction, the group got into 3 cars and stayed in communication using their cell phones. Williams and Bradford were in the Mercedes, the lead car, and looked for potential targets. 3 other men were in the Lexus, the decoy car, that would try to draw the attention of any police officers responding to the shooting. Defendants Marty, Smith, and Lawson were in a Nissan, the designated shooting car and the only one containing firearms. Marty drove the Nissan, and Smith and Lawson sat in the back seat. All 3 occupants of the Nissan were armed. The group first drove in a caravan to the Howard Hughes Center in Culver City, where Williams believed they would find Bounty Hunter Bloods. Williams directed the group to the driver of a Maserati, whom he identified as a rival gang member. Defendants Marty, Smith, and Lawson all shot at the Maserati's occupants. The driver of the Maserati was treated for multiple gunshot wounds. Following this shooting, the group retrieved an AK-47 assault rifle. Because Williams was not satisfied with the shooting, all 3 cars then headed to the Nickerson Gardens searching for another target. After scouting the area a few times, defendant Marty stopped the Nissan near a field where a group of people had congregated. Defendant Lawson fired a pistol at the group until the chamber was empty. Several bullets hit a nearby home. Defendant Smith, who had been given the AK-47, struggled to cock the rifle and was unable to fire any shots. No injuries were reported as a result of this shooting. The caravan of cars next went to a nearby park. Williams told the group that they were not done because no one had been killed. After Williams helped Smith cock the AK-47, the group headed toward the gas station across the street from the Nickerson Gardens. From the Mercedes, Williams or Bradford identified the driver of a white Chrysler at the gas station as another potential target. Victim Cordero Dugal was the driver of the Chrysler, and his girlfriend was also in the car. A third person was standing nearby. Defendant Smith said, "What's up, cuz?" and then immediately opened fire with the AK-47, killing the victim and wounding both his girlfriend and the man standing nearby. Shell casings were recovered from the scenes of all 3 shootings. Ballistic testing showed the casings found at the Howard Hughes Center and those found at the Nickerson Gardens were fired from the same gun. A casing recovered from the gas station was consistent with the type of ammunition often used in AK-47 assault rifles. The police also obtained security camera footage of the Nickerson Gardens and gas station shootings. The footage of the Nickerson Garden shooting captured a Nissan, Mercedes, and Lexus driving through the area, and the Nissan then speeding away as the crowd of people suddenly fled. The footage of the gas station shooting showed the same 3 cars driving in tandem on a nearby street, and the Nissan pulling into the station with the barrel of a rifle pointing out the window. Immediately after the shooting, the Nissan left the gas station and drove away from the area, followed by 2 other vehicles. Soon after the shooting at the gas station, officers stopped the Lexus and took its occupants into custody. The following night, other officers pulled over the Nissan and arrested its occupants, Marty and Smith. After the arrest, Smith admitted to a detective that he was part of the group of Grape Street gang members that committed the shooting at Nickerson Gardens and the gas station as revenge for the murder of one of their members. According to Smith, Williams and another member of the gang forced him to participate in the shooting. They physically assaulted Smith and took his property. They then held him at gunpoint and told him to get in the Nissan with defendant Marty and Lawson. At trial, the prosecution's gang expert opined that based on a hypothetical drawn from the facts of the case, the Nickerson Gardens and gas station shootings would have been committed for the benefit of or in association with a criminal street gang, with the specific intent to promote, further, or assist the criminal conduct of its members. After being charged in this case, defendant Lawson and Bradford entered into plea agreements under which they would receive reduced sentences in all cases pending against them in exchange for their truthful testimony. Lawson, who was 18 years old at the time of the shootings, would receive a total term of 28 years, making him eligible for parole in 13 years. Defendant Bradford, who was 19 years old at the time of the shootings, would be sentenced to a 9-year term. Following the trial, defendant Marty was convicted of 1 count of first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of shooting at an occupied vehicle, and 1 count of shooting at an inhabited dwelling. The jury also found true the gun and gang enhancements. The court sentenced defendant Marty to a term of life without the possibility of parole, plus 3 consecutive life terms, plus 85 years. The jury convicted defendant Smith of first-degree murder, attempted murder, shooting in an occupied vehicle, and possession of a firearm by a felon. The jury also found true the gun and gang enhancements. The court sentenced Smith to life without the possibility of parole, plus consecutive life terms, plus 53 years. Cordero Dugal was 26 years old at the time of death.